This is day 8 of the Campout. I'm just checking a few things to make sure we're live, like we are. And this is the studio cabin campout, day 8. Every day for 8 days, I've been getting on here and talking about stories and reading poetry and talking about my new album. And just to start us off tonight we have 2 songs that kind of split my brain because I'm dropping 2 songs a day from my double album. So y'all should have, I guess, what do we have, 14 songs now, or is it 16? And 16 songs. And I'm usually kind of aim for a theme. And these 2 songs, they're in 2 different camps. One of them's from the morning album and one's from the midnight. And this is a double album. And so I'm less prepared than I usually am. So we're going to just read some poetry, maybe read some stories out of the book and that I wrote for this album or while I was making this album, and just see where things end up. And then later I'm going to play a song called The Ballad of Carmelito, my wife's favorite song from the album, I believe. And I think actually there's the theme right there. These are both my wife's favorite songs, and that's why they're on the album. Oh, she gets a say in this stuff. But first, for those that are watching on YouTube or Facebook, just what this is a private release event where I'm giving the double album away, 20 songs, 2 songs every day. And this hangout is just part of it. Each day in the Campout portal is what I'm calling it, is there's new music videos that we're premiering privately for everybody that signed up for this event. And if you do want to watch this, you can sign up. There should be a link around there somewhere, and I will offer a replay at some point. And depending on when you're seeing it, you might be able to jump in now. There's going to be 2 more days after the hangout today, and I still have another official music video to drop, and also some neat special content made just for this event. And in other news, like for the campers, because I've been asked a few times, where do I get the album? It's coming, and I think, well, I'm almost sure Saturday I'll have it up on the store. I've ran into some problems because I was trying to make it just for y'all at first and not release it all where everybody can see it. And I'm having a problem with my store. So what I'm going to do instead is just put it up on my store, and everybody that's signed up for the Campout is going to get a huge discount on everything for a little while, and I'll make sure everybody gets that in their email. And so Saturday I should have that ready for you, and I'll notify everybody. And Saturday's the last day of the Campout, so kind of planning that it all comes together. And so I'm so glad to be here, and thank y'all. I've really enjoyed this a lot. I go in after the Campout. It's too hard for me to get over and answer comments, so my wife is in there, Hallie, and y'all can ask her anything you want to come over this way. I do get text here, so if there's a question that comes up, she can text me here, and I'll try to answer it here live. If not, I'll take note and answer it tomorrow. But thank you so much for being here. I've really enjoyed this. I go in afterwards and I check out all the comments, and I just really have enjoyed this a lot, and having this time to celebrate years of work. And these 2 songs are the oldest songs on the album. And for like the 8th time, since this is day 8, there's 2 albums in this double album, and they really were kind of 2 different albums that one was written while I was making the other. So I was making Midnight, which are songs that are from a hard year of my life, of a divorce with my wife. And now she's back. She's in the chat. So I guess things are going good. And we've been back together for about over a decade. And but those songs, I put those away in a drawer when we got back together and started working on healing our marriage. And I just didn't want to look at it all. Now, this song, The Ballad of Carmelito, for you in the back end that just watched the artwork with The Ballad of Carmelito. Now, that song made it on the album because it was just so connected to who we are as a couple. And it was, I started like reviving some of these songs to make an album during that whole divorce era. and Carmelito was one. Suffer Me was another one. I actually start have a version of Suffer Me with Leslie Wills from the Wills Sessions, which is an album that I don't know if I have that on Spotify, but it's on Bandcamp. Um, and so these made it onto this album as kind of just representing this whole uh, love story of our life, because Carmelito, the Ballad of Carmelito, was a song that was written in the early infatuation days of our love, before we even married, I believe, or maybe right when we got married. And so was Suffer Me, from the two songs that you have in your album folder today. And I thought, it brings up so much to talk about. I thought I'd let the book kind of lead the discussion today. And I usually try not to plan out what I'm going to talk about, but I just throw bookmarks in this book that I wrote while I was making the album, that has poetry and stories. And I just throw a bunch of bookmarks in there, and because stuff that seems like maybe this will be nice to talk about tonight. I have so many in there right now. So this might either be a long night, or, I'll start using these as kindling. I'm going to start off just by reading the story with the Ballad of Carmelito. The book has all the lyrics for the double album, and a story that kind of goes with it in some way, or at least I felt like it did when I was putting the book together. And the writings are just writings mainly from what I did that year. A few of them were written for the book, but a lot of them are just from journals that I kind of formed them to work within this book. And so this is the Ballad of Carmelito. And for those that play guitar, I get asked about tunings. I actually put the tuning of the guitar in Ballad of Carmelito. And I do that not because I'm giving people the tunings, because when I get years past the song, I can't remember the tuning. So a lot of times I'll print them on the album so I can just go look at the CD, see my tuning. But, there's something I must of Carmelito before I go into that, is the special on the song feature. Still on? There we go. So Rene Martinez is my father-in-law, and some of y'all might know who he is. If you don't know who he is, I should have uploaded this, but go Google Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar change, and that's one of my favorite videos. So he's like a world-renowned guitar tech for the biggest names there are: Stevie Ray Vaughan and Santana, and he worked for Prince, and John Mayer was the one he retired with, and he's the one playing. You'll hear him on the Ballad of Carmelito, and he brought so much to this song. And I was a little scared to ask him to play on it. He's an amazing flamenco player. He has opened for like Santana and Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's opened for Stevie Ray Vaughan back in the day. And he's an amazing player. And, one thing, when you marry into a family with somebody like him, that at the time, I think he was working for Santana. And, I'm a musician. I'm sure we both were thinking, he's probably like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be asking me to take a tape to John Mayer or Bob Dylan or whatever, all these people that he had met. And I was going into this marriage, and when I found out who Rene was, that I didn't want to be that guy. And so I've really kind of just wanted our relationship to be just as a son-in-law and a father-in-law. And I feel like we really have that. But he does work on all my guitars, and he's going to have to work on them after this campfire, because I hate to say it, Rene, if you're watching, I don't know how it happened. I put my guitar over there as I was picking up last night, and I left my 018 1966 Martin outside all night. Oh my gosh. Thank God I have Rene Martinez. But he's such a special part of this song and the experience of making this album. He brought to it, I got to do some recording techniques that I've studied and I wanted to use, and I ended up using them because of Rene, because he didn't want to wear headphones. And if you record, that's not something we do nowadays. We always isolate and wear headphones. But I had gotten, he had given me, or I don't know if he gave it to me or he had it at his house, a big How the Beatles Recorded book that has all their setups. And I got real fascinated years ago with recording with live speakers in the room, and, and doing, you know, like they used to do. They used to not wear headphones. They would record with live speakers and a figure eight mic. And I actually got to do that with Renee because he didn't want to wear headphones. And so I was like, well, how am I going to do this? And so I did that on the Ballad of Carmelito, and I feel like it gives it this live feeling to it. And I've used it on other songs on this album, and it's something now I really enjoy. It's just not wearing headphones in the studio if I don't have to. Now, if I have to, I will. But anyways, a big thank you to him. I feel like he brought so much to that. And he's taught me a lot about music. And the main thing I'll just say is mainly, I mean, humility is a big one. When you're with a guy that's like on the phone with John, which is, while we're over at the cabin, that's John Mayer. I'm like, wow. So, but he has such a humble spirit about it all. And he's taught me a humility in music in the way that, so much of music is looking outward, and he's taught me to look at like inward at what do I want. Like I would come to him, and people come to him, and I want my guitar to sound like this guy or that guy, but he's like, no, why don't you play it now? What does that feel like kind of gets it into what do I want? And that's what all these big stars, that's what they want. They want the setup to sound like them, and they do, and it's something that he's brought to me. It's just a real personalized feeling with my instruments, with the way that I think about music. I don't think outside anymore. When I was younger, I thought, oh, I want to sound like this guy, or this, I want a guitar that sounds like this. I don't think about that anymore. It's like, what do I want this to feel? And it kind of comes from inside, although all that stuff is blended in, of course, But I just wanted to say that about Renee. He's a real special guy in my life. Hopefully we do a music video. I'm talking to him about it. All right, let's do, oh, there I go. And I lost it. I lost the page. Here we go. So I'll read the story first. This song has a lot of stories with it. I'm going to read the lyrics, and then I'll go in and read a little story I wrote with this. Okay. I followed him to El Paso, all the way to Santo Domingo. I passed a player on the road. Oh, it made my blood run cold. For every note and every lover's tune reminds me of the love I knew. Carmelito, your song is through. When I find you, I'll know what to do. We had a house in the Texas hills. I used to work in the barren fields. It wasn't much, but we made do with her love and a dream or two. That's when he came just passing through. I put him up in the back bedroom. Around the fire, he would sing his tunes. If I only knew what his songs would do. With all the beauty here beneath the sun, why did you take my darling, lovely, only one? If I ever find my fingers round a gun, I will find you, Carmelito, and you'll fall with her innocence and all. I wasn't sure what I should do when I came home to an empty room. She left a note saying all was through, and Carmelito, he was gone too. It took a moment because my face was red to put together in my head. Oh, Carmelito, your song is through. When I find you, I'll know what to do. And the months turned into years. As I walked on this trail of tears, I thought about the way she used to dance to the songs of the traveling man. I should have known I was not enough for her beauty or her tender touch. Still, Carmelito, you must pay for the love she took away. I found him on the coast of Mexico in a cantina on the hotel row. With my lover beside him still, I drew the gun and I swore to kill. I said, your debt has come to pay. I shot the gun and I walked away. My lover fell. His heart did too. Carmelito, your song is through. That's my wife, when I first wrote that, she encouraged me to write a novel because it is just a story. It even has a twist at the end. and so I did. And this was me and my wife just celebrated our 20th year anniversary. And so I wrote this either in the early years of our first year of our marriage, or it might have been right before we got married. But she encouraged me to write a novel. And I had a secret desire that I have had since I was a kid of I wanted to write books. I always thought that's what I would do. And and I was scared to do it. I didn't know how to write. I'm pretty dyslexic. They put me in the rooms now that people say short bus, but I was in the rooms with the big pencils when I was little. Does anybody remember that? We had the number 2 pencils, but you had classrooms and they gave us big pencils because we might hurt each other. And I had learning disabilities, so I was always out in the trailer. Like a lot of our schools had a trailer outside, and all the other kids were in the school. I was out in the trailer, so I had no reason to believe that I could be a writer. And but I love to read. I started reading a lot in my 20s, and I thought, if somebody else can do it, I guess I can do it. And if my wife thinks I can do it, then maybe I'll try. And I wrote it, wrote the entire novel, and I don't think it's that great. I want to work on it some more. But what's neat that came out of it is I wrote 4 other novels. And when my daughter was born and my son was just getting into like 9, 10, 11 years old, I wanted them to love reading like I had learned to love reading. And there's so much, like digital stuff going on. The internet was just coming in. There was iPads starting to come out, and all the kids were just sitting there with the, look at the screen all day. And I could just see us being sucked into this. And I felt like a little salvation could be if they love to read, because no matter what they're doing, just like me, I still long for that feeling to get lost in a book. And it turns out that it's true. Both of my kids are like that. What I did, though, is I didn't give them a book. I wrote them novels that I thought they would like with them as the characters. So both of my kids, my son has 2 novels and my daughter has 1. And then I started writing my 5th novel, and my son, who edited this book, he's my editor, he's also helping me finish my 5th novel. And so that's something very interesting in my life, the writing thing, because I don't have a lot of ambitions around anybody reading these books. I have so much fun making them, writing them. It takes years to write these books, or a year. And I just go into this world and I live in these characters. And then working with my son, of course, is a wonderful thing of editing. And there's just all this joy just in the making of things. And I think I'll read this and talk about that a little bit. That's what I think. I think I've stumbled on a theme. So I'm going to read. This is a little story I put in here with the Ballad of Carmelito. I once spent a year turning the Carmelito song into a novel that wasn't great, and now it sits in a drawer. So should you make art even if there's a chance no one will see it? Or maybe a better question is, should you make art even if it's never appreciated beyond your little family circle? Because let's be honest, your mama's going to love anything you make. Well, actually, the novel was too violent for mama, but still. I'd like to offer a few reasons from my own life why you should not only create, but create with all of your heart. 1, you don't know the future. And even if just one person gets something from it, it's worth it, and that person includes you as I'm sorry, I screwed that one up. And even if it's just one person that gets something from it, it's worth it. And that includes you as that pollen person. One of my lost album songs ended up changing someone's life. I always like to remember that the album it came from sold a grand total of 8 copies when it was released. This was back when physical media was still a thing. Not another copy was sold for years. We played an outdoor show in Austin, one that had been hyped as a big deal. But when we got there, the turnout was sad. A few scattered people were sitting way off in the lawn. Every now and then, they'd glance over. That was about it. I barely remember the set itself, but I remember the disappointment. Still, we played our asses off because that's what we do. Years later, I got a letter. It was from a woman who said she had been at that exact show. Who said, she and her husband hadn't come for the music. They'd picked that lakefront picnic table to meet and sign the final decree of their divorce. Then suddenly, there was a band. As they were talking, one of the songs caught their ear. By the end of the song, they were holding hands. They went home together that night, and they've been married ever since. As far as I'm concerned, my work on earth is done. Yeah, that was eventually picked up that song eventually picked up a few fans, but not many. Still, thank God I created it. Thank God I poured my heart into it. Whenever I start feeling down about my failing career, I think of that couple. I think of their children. I picture them dancing in the kitchen to Take Me With You on their anniversary. And I say to myself, you don't know the future, dumbass. Two, this is reason number two to create. Creation is the purest high. If you fall deep enough into creating, you forget you're doing it for anyone. You forget you're doing it for any reason at all. And in those moments, you actually live. Back to the Carmelito novel. I got lost in that book for a year. Every evening after work, it was like taking a little bump of bliss. The kind of feeling that if the government knew about it, they'd slap creation on the Schedule 1 narcotics list. To be fully present in a moment, to be lost in it, fully engaged, isn't that the most profound feeling on earth? Think of a great sexual encounter. Think of being a kid at a theme park. Think of those dizzy electric weeks after falling in love. Creating can be that. But like all those pleasures, it only works if you're not chasing an outcome. The moment you start creating for something, you can start to feel miserable while doing it. And here's reason number three, legacy. My parents were creative monsters. Music was my upbringing. My father is a beast of art. He makes all things beautiful. He wrote poetry, painted, turned conversations into masterpieces, but their work never got the outcome they might have dreamed of. One album, a single vinyl record from the 70s. That's what remains. It sits on my mantle, the only album they ever made. Did they fail? Was it a waste of time? Ask their kids. Every one of us is deep in music and art. Some of us are professional musicians. Ask their grandkids. Many of them are already creating, performing, making things. Did grandpa waste his time? I think we know the answer to that. There's something about creating that changed in me in my 40s, and mainly because I had a big catharsis, a big change in my life. I got sober from a very bad addiction that I've fought with my whole life that nearly killed me. So I had a huge catharsis in my life. And a part of that was by the end of that time, it had gotten so bad. I remember, I think it was my last show as I fell off stage because I was drunk and knocked over part of the drum set. And then the band didn't want to play with me anymore because that's what I did almost at every show. Is I got so drunk on stage that it was no fun anymore. It's fun for me as long as I got home. But when it all changed, music was gone. Like that was the last thing I was worried about when I came to the end of that dark road. I couldn't write a song. I couldn't even keep myself aware long enough to write a song or play a show. Forget it. And when I came and my life started changing, and I put the bottle down. I wasn't expecting music to come back. In fact, I think that's part of the reason it was a true change to me is because I didn't do it. I'd changed before to try to get something, try to get music back, try to get a woman back, try to get my kids back, try to get a job. I've done that before. Oh, we got a little owl out here. That's our hoot owl. But this time it wasn't for that. I just didn't want to live like this anymore. And music came back in such a beautiful, sweet way. It came back as mine for the first time. Before, now I love music. I mean, as far as back as I can remember, I just loved making music. But it was always with the view, the outside world was looking in my writing room and in my recordings. They all had a say in it somehow, you know. But when I got music and it was all mine, and it was just something I did, just sitting there, in my living room, and it was a joy just to sit and write a song. It became something very different. And then the ambitions that go with making music, such as making an album or these music videos that I make, or this event, these became very different too. Because that used to be about, when I get to the end of making an album, the disappointment would almost kill me because I've only had like maybe 2 albums in my younger career and one in my this era that released well, that I felt like, wow, that was really good. And rooms were packed and all that. So maybe 3 albums, 3 or 4. But for the most part, out of, I think this is 13 or 14 numbers of albums. For the most part, it's always a big disappointment, a big goose egg. And, you know, when I came back to music, that stopped mattering so much. I'd go play shows, and, I was coming back. I used to have a career when I was young, and I was coming back to play in my 40s, and like 3 people would show up to a show, and sometimes it was 4, and sometimes it's just the barista back there at a coffee shop. And what I would judge whether that show was good, there's always at least one person there, is that I either got some good practice on stage, or that just one person, you know, that I reached out and communicated to one person, and that would be a successful show. And that wasn't hard to do. And so I might have 4 people in there, and there would always be one person that afterward I'd talk to, and it felt like there was an impact there. And then with these, like videos and even making albums and this event and everything, there's different reasons. Videos became kind of a communal thing. I enjoy getting together with people that I love and with friends and family and doing something intensely creative. There's something about having only like 6 hours and a bunch of equipment and a bunch of people and trying to make a music video that, I don't know, it's exciting. All the makings of things are huge memories in my little, 6 hours of a day are like big memories within that year of each time I make a music video. And so I try to make those communal. I have one out there called Settle Down Good, you can look up, where I put out Facebook posts of people to come out and join us on this music video shoot. And I met people from around town. They just showed up, and it was so fun. And, so I try to make music videos something that is fun for me, or video projects, even like you've watched these poetry videos. I want to make them fun, not just for me, but for other people involved, like this meaningful time that we have together, something they can look at and see, wow, I'm a part of something that's cool, and we really worked hard. And then, making albums and other things like this event, there's something that is, the thing is not the thing. Like the goal at the end, like the album itself, this double album, believe it or not, if I was to finish this, put it out, and go about my way, I would forget about it and probably not listen to it for a couple of years. That's how I do with my albums. I don't think about it. It's over. And I would play the songs now and then if people liked them and wanted to hear them. But the thing at the end is not the thing. And that's what I've found out in this new era of music. It's what it does in me, especially if I go for something that's a little bit beyond my reach, is I like what it changes in me. Even this event has changed something inside of me. I'm like scared to death to stand in front of a camera. Y'all might not think that I'm up here yapping all night. I am. I've been scared my whole life. I would not get in front of a camera in my early, people always trying to make music videos. And I was like, no. I'll do like a live video, but I don't want to stand in front of a camera. And so even this has like, what kind of, forget the work that I'm doing here. What kind of work did it do on me? And I think of that with a lot of things that are desires and ambitions in my life. One thing that I've used, a little tool I've used to get things done in my music and to push me into a place that will actually make me confront a lot of my fears, is that I will go ahead and set the date, whether the thing is done or not. And I'll set it far enough where, it's not extreme. There is enough time to get ready, but there is a date. I start promoting it with like music videos. A lot of times I took a picture while we were making it, put a date out there and forced myself to get done by that date. I do that with albums. I've done that with shows where I need to work up a new album and I just won't do it. So I'll just book a show in 2 weeks. Now I got to work, I got to work up these songs. And so forcing myself into it. But again, it's not the thing. It's not the show. It's not the outcome of the show. It's what kind of work did it do to me? And so many times, everything I do, every album I make, every time I come back out here and try to promote an album or whatever, make a video, it makes me confront myself. And I have a lot of fears. I have a lot of things that if I had my way, I would just go lay up in that bed up there and watch. I like DVDs and Blu-rays. I hate Netflix and streaming stuff, but that's what I would do all day long. Maybe I'd have a job. I do like working, but I don't. It makes me confront something that I think about and desire, but when I go off to do it, like making a live video like this, I've had a lot of excuses for many years not to do it, and so I just book it and say, "Hey, I'm going to be live." I'm going to read another poem here. I'm going to check first and make sure. Yeah, people are there. Looks like we're on. Okay. Um, let's see what we got. I bookmarked so many. Oh, this one's kind of fits the theme. It's called The Further Dream. And this is a poem I wrote. It costs too much to wake up wanting, more than what this day will bring. This sunrise you deem a finger pointing off into the further dream. More than that, more than what this day will bring is hope deferred, willingly shoved off into the further dream we cannot know the balance of. Hope deferred, willingly shoved down the calendar of future days we cannot know the balance of. Why abandon them today's today? Down the calendar of future days slide with blurry smiles passing. Why abandon them today's today? Only now for everlasting. Slide with blurry smiles passing to dreamy gold you hope will come. Only now for everlasting. You may attain, but still you run. To dreamy gold we hope will come. The price of blurry smiles is haunting. You may attain, but still you run. It costs too much to wake up wanting. Kind of slaughtered that one. Let me read this little sidebar I got on here. To want what you have, to love what you are doing, to think only of that which can be affected before the sun goes down. If you don't love it, don't do it. If you don't have it already, don't want it. But how can I love this job? Go without a job, run out of money, run out of food, run out of respect. Oh, that's how. These are little things, the poems I wrote, but a lot of times I write to myself. I have to encourage myself. I've chosen a way of life that is a hopeful life. I don't want to live under the veil of tears anymore. And that's a job. It's a job I have to just like any job, I got to show up to. And so I write to myself a lot. I talk to myself to a lot. And I, and get myself back in a good frame of mind. And really, when it comes down to it, that's what this whole book is writings to myself to get me back on a path. One that kind of extends that thought. This one's called Focus. Look not ye on. Okay, this poetry reading thing, I'm getting it, but I'm not a master yet. See, what is this doing to me to read poetry live on the internet? It's doing something. Look not ye on the darker side of life, not for a proof of darkness never there. Lonesome stranger, we are wed in strife. Even acquainted souls blush to stare. What is built on banks is then compounded, stacking it higher for higher the view. Where will you build a temple grounded? Look oft on sunrise or perilous doom. Number your eyes, each moment is dual. Glance over your labor and rest satisfied, or ponder mistakes and pick out the cruel. For we so choose which view we deprive. Though none escape strife, what life will be is what you choose to focus and see. I paced back and forth, drinking my coffee, worrying about all that I had to complete. There was a thick feeling in my chest. The weight of my never-ending cycle of work deserved a little warm self-pity, so I dosed myself up. Why is it so hard? Why so little return? What's the point? Then I remember that there is a heavenly glow behind everything. I can live there anytime. I am willing to let go. It's real. I've done it in 10,000s of times by now. I stopped my raging mind for just a second and looked up at the tall trees surrounding me. I let myself fall into the quiet of the moment. Something caught my eye, a little group of birds high up in the tree. I love the pattern they make, considering how I might draw the scene. I let my focus rest there in the branches. The weight of being left my bones. This is what it is to look for the glow. In everything there is a light of God. If I will only pull myself away from trying to fix and control and conjure, and instead surrender my life into the divine hands of now. Behind all things, the glow is all and in all. Man, let's see what else we got here. You know, there's, I don't know about you, but I have so many plans that come to naught. I mean, even this event, there was so many things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen. I'm sure there will be many music videos I am planning right now that don't happen. I'm sure there will be a last album. And by my backlog that I have right now, I bet there's a lot of albums I just don't get to. And that's something I struggle with is getting caught in, like, I call it the mechanical life, where, that poem I just read, The Further Dream, talks about blurry faces, how blurry faces are haunting. And I can get stuck, with this outcome becomes the most important thing in my life. And I forget to live until I get that thing. And a friend of mine who actually played on the album, he has a lot of kids. I'll just say he's got a lot. He's got 8 kids now. And he told me, he told me something about this same thing where you're just in the project, nothing else matters. You'll just walk past your life every day until the goal is complete. And everything else irritates you. And he said one of his pieces of equipment came when he was like making his album, and he'd been waiting for it, and he got real excited and opened it. And one of his little kids said, Daddy, can you be happy now? I just love that. Because that's what it is can you be happy now that you got the thing you're waiting on? Ezra, now that you finished your double album, can you be happy now? And it's not like I don't fall into those patterns. We all do, that's what's going on here. This is what we're doing. It's that I got so tired of it that I have to set up my life in a way that there's checks and balances in my life. There's ways that step me out of that. There's mirrors that I walk past where I can see what I'm doing. Or I'm the type of guy that just can go. I could see me going all the way to the end and not looking up. And I don't want that. And so poetry is actually one of those things that draws me in into the quietness of a moment. Now I'm going to read a couple of more. Let's see what else we have bookmarked here. Got something with all these. Here, the other song I gave y'all today was called Suffer Me. So let's step into love for a minute. Are we still on? I should check everything. Oh, there we go. Okay, it looks like we are. So Suffer Me is all the promises of a man about to marry a woman, and that woman was my wife when I wrote this, that I make to her, if only one thing, if she'll suffer me. And at that time, I'd been married before, and I knew that this wasn't going to be easy for her. And I tried to convince her even, like, yeah, you probably don't want to marry me. I think it's going to be real messy. And I loved the way she looked at me, and I didn't want that to change. I wanted her to always look at me that way, like I was this great guy. Now we're 20 years in. The beautiful thing is, it did get where she didn't look at me like that anymore, but now she does, and we're 20 years married, and that's crazy. There's all these there's different landscapes in marriage, you know. A lot of you don't know what's over the other side. But anyways, that's this song. I'm going to read this the lyrics to this song, and then I'll read a little bit about what I wrote about it. Four-leaf clovers, blue Octobers, dancing wind chimes round your tree, rivers flowing, light bugs glowing, for your pleasant eyes to see, gold dust starlight, candles every night, in shining armor to set you free. Sunday mornings, peace rewarding, I give your heart to suffer me. An ocean's treasure, a box of pleasure, to keep your thoughts a secret key. Blossoms memory in garden subtleties, a dream you hide but want to be. Sailing the waves above the falling rocks of love, a white dove calling to set you free. Colors you never knew, shades that will color you, I give your heart to suffer me. A rose is violet, a raindrop heaven sent, to fall and grow your deepest need. Sunlight cup of tea, moonlit memory, a new leaf turning, just wait and see. Now and forever, two hearts are better, a perfect circle on my knee. A new day wide awake, the last breath that I take. I give your heart to suffer me. All right, I'm going to read what I wrote here. To love someone, true enduring love, I mean, is heroic. I don't think the mind of our current world remembers this. Our modern stories and films almost exclusively focus on only one part of love, the beginning, the seed being planted and the painful sprouting into vulnerability. I can't even think of a movie from the last 20 years that is about what love really is. Love is endurance, but dismiss your stoic clouds and don't think I'm talking purely of time, though that is certainly part of it. The endurance of love is the endurance to love, to not sit in your bitter self righteousness, not be ruled by your wanting, not to close the door on a bruised heart. It is to swing the door open, especially when arrows are flying. That's what a hero would do, right? In the end, it turns out to be a selfish indulgence because it has a great reward for those who endure. An award easily overlooked by a generation. I'm sorry, an award easily overlooked by generations who have dispensed with ideas of merit. It is a prize only given to the brave. If you have it, you're one of the few. The gift is richness of love, and hence richness of life. Love fully ripe and blossomed is not something to be missed on this earth. I sure didn't know this, but I'm starting to learn. All right. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. Oh, there goes a bookmark. So whatever that was, it's not happening. Oh, oh, I like talked about stuff that was left undone. Let's see. I'm kind of tonight. I tell you what, I was tired tonight. I did not want to do this, and I just came out here early and sat with the fire to kind of get myself in the campfire mood, and I got there. And what do we got here? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one for what we're talking about, I think, and maybe a good one to end on. And I just lost it. My goodness, what did I do with it? Okay, here we go. All right, let me take a drink. When we moved out here to this land, several people were telling me I was a fool, like to my face, like this is stupid. What are you doing? Because there really wasn't a place to live out here. We there wasn't. We had to cook over a campfire, and there was water outside at a water hose, and then I got it inside. And there's all kinds of things. We had a cabin, but it had no floors, just dirt under there. We made a little place to live upstairs, and there was so much we needed. I mean, there was every day I needed a new tool or something. And I remember me and my wife pray together sometimes. And I got down and ready for our little nightly prayer. And she said, "Thank you, God, we have enough." And I was like, "What the? What are you talking about? We have enough." I got mad at her. I was like, "Don't tell him that. He's going to listen to you." Um, you know, and I love that. I think that I put that in here somewhere, that little story, because we did have enough. And I look back, I've had several times like that in my life where, like, several versions of my family living in one room. And they're just the most beautiful times. And we had everything we needed. It was just all the wanting that gets in the way. All the wanting, which if I'm wanting, I'm living somewhere else. So what's the purpose of that? And so a lot of folk, when during this time, a lot of time was spent focusing. And I remember this is something also my wife would say is to want what I have. And if I don't want it, what's it doing here? And so to kind of simplify life and to want the things that I have. If I want something, I have a lot of stuff in that cabin over there. Why don't I want this guitar tonight instead of wanting a new guitar? Why don't I want that banjo that I got for Christmas instead of wanting a mandolin? This little poem, because when it comes down to it, let's just wrap it all in a little bow. With making art and ambition and making things, it comes down to life happens right here, right on my lot. I always think of it's just the ground beneath me. This is my lot. This is where life is happening right now. And if I'm very conscious about my life, I can actually live where my feet are every day. And life takes on a different meaning when you do that. And it's not easy, let me tell you. But I do practice that now. This little poem was about that. Be satisfied with the little you have, not the lot that weighs down slow, the little, like an evening in the bath, with a book that Somerset wrote. They have us all doped and strange, peering long at the world at large. At someone else's life we strain, our eyes fast reckless cars. Look here, son, at your little feet. Watch them print upon the sand. Little hands, they help you eat. A child knows more than man. Nothing's yours, your bank alone, your hair and teeth a brief raiment. Your house awaits another's home. Breath requests a final payment. Right here, quiet, there it glows. Out your window, a peeking moon. A nightlight God made for those lovers under stars to swoon. How little we are, so be satisfied. Your little life with your little heart. Waves of wonder will be your guide. Days in love, your work of art. I'll go ahead and read this little sidebar. What a relief to realize how small we are, how little control we have. It was shocking to allow myself to think of this. When I was young, I thought that I could change the world if only someone would give me the chance. But soon I turned my attention to changing my own self, just little old me. The task was so daunting that it made me blush to think that I ever considered I could or should change someone else. The paradox is that this is the only way the world changes. Y'all, thank you for being here. Once again, this has been a wonderful night. I just really enjoyed. I'm going to jump on. I have to get my guitar inside. I'm not going to leave it out here again. And close down shop, and then I'm going to go check out everything that went on in the chat. And if there's any questions, you can leave them with Hallie. She's my wife. She's in the chat room there, and she'll get them to me. We have only 2 nights left of this. Now, I got to tell you, I miss my family. I've been working it all day and then doing this at night. And then my wife was here for a few days, but she had to go somewhere. And so I'm kind of looking forward, strangely, to the end of this, but also strangely, I'm going to miss this a lot. This is a real special time with y'all. So come back tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have another uh, official music video drop. I think that's tomorrow, and a couple of new songs. One of, I say this is my personal favorite. I think I say that with like all the songs. I have another one that is really one that I love personally. It was written for my children, and I just love playing it. So I'm going to play it tomorrow. It's called 1,000 Pound Troubles. Tonight, I'm going to. Someday I'm going to figure out how to make music sound good on this live setup. But I heard it and it just sounds horrible. But for you that are watching, I don't want to lose my fire. Hold on. This is just more to be in the spirit of the campfire. I'm going to play Carmelito, the Ballad of Carmelito. Ooh, and this is nylon, so it really doesn't like the fire. I actually have a campfire guitar, and I think I left it somewhere. I couldn't find it for this little camp out. I gotta drink. I gotta take a drink. Followed him to El Paso, all the way to Santo Domingo. I passed the player on the road. Oh, it made my blood run cold. For every note and every lover's tune reminds me of the love I knew. And Carmelito, your song is through. When I find you, I'll know what to do. Oh. Had a house in the Texas hills. I used to work in the barren fields. It wasn't much, but we made do with a love and a dream or two. That's when it came just passing through. I put him up in the back bedroom. Around a fire he would play his tunes. If I only knew what his songs would do. With all the beauty here beneath the sun, why did you take my darling love, the only one? If I ever find my fingers round a gun, ooh, I will find you, Carmelito, and you'll fall with her innocence and all. Oh, 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 oh. Wasn't sure what I should do when I came home to an empty room. She left a note saying all was through, and Carmelito, he was gone too. It took a moment cause my face was red to put together in my head. Well, Carmelito, your song is through. When I find you, I know what to do. With all the beauty here beneath the sun, why did you take my darling love, the only one? If I ever found my fingers round a gun, ooh, I will find you, Carmelito, and you fall with the innocence and all. Turned into years as I walked on this trail of tears. I thought about the way she used to dance to the songs of the traveling man. I knew her makeup was not enough for her beauty or her tender touch. Still, Carmelito, you must pay for the song she took away. I found him on the coast of Mexico in a cantina on the hotel road. Oh my gosh, with my lover beside him still, I drew my gun and I swore to kill. I said your debt has come to pay. I shot the gun and I walked away. My lover fell, his heart did too. Oh, Carmelito, your song is through. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. It's hard to, I gotta like take some time to get used to these songs. Anyways, I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody. We'll go ahead and play the actual recording. All right, everybody. I followed him to El Paso, all the way to Santo Domingo. I passed the player on the road. Oh, it made my blood run cold. Forever noting every lover's tune reminds me of the love I knew. Carmelito, your song is through. When I find you, I'll know what to do. In the Texas hills, I used to work in the barren fields. It wasn't much, but we made do, with her love and a dream or two. That's when it came just passing through. I put him up in the back bedroom. Around the fire he would sing his tunes. If I only knew what his songs would do. With all the beauty here beneath the sun, why did you take my darling, lovely only one? If I ever find my fingers round the gun, I will find you, Carmelito, and you'll fall with her innocence and all. Sure what I should do when I came home to an empty room. She left a note saying all was through, and Carmelito, he was gone too. It took a moment cause my face was red to put together in my head. Oh Carmelito, your song is through. When I find you, I'll know what to do. With all the beauty here beneath the sun, why did you take my darling, lovely only one? If I ever find my fingers round the gun, I will find you, Carmelito, and you'll fall with her innocence and all. As I walked on this trail of tears, I thought about the way she used to dance to the songs of the traveling man. I should have known I was not enough for her beauty or her tender touch. Still, Carmelito, you must pay for the love she took away.